Imagine running a business where products arrive exactly when customers need them. Factories never stop due to material shortages, and warehouses never overflow with excess inventory. That level of efficiency doesn't happen by accident. It happens through supply chain planning, one of the most critical pillars of supply chain management. Before we dive into planning, let's briefly understand what a supply chain is. A supply chain includes all the processes, systems, and organizations involved in transforming raw materials and services from their origin into finished products delivered to the final customer. In simple terms, the supply chain moves a product from the supplier to the factory to the warehouse and finally to the customer. Globally, supply chain operations are often structured using four core components: plan, planning how supply will meet demand; source, procuring raw materials and services; make, manufacturing or production; and deliver, distribution and logistics to customers. Among these components, planning acts as the strategic brain of the entire supply chain. Without effective planning, even the best sourcing, production, or logistics systems can fail. Supply chain planning is the process of aligning supply with demand in the most efficient and cost-effective way. It answers critical business questions such as how much demand should we expect? How much should we produce? What materials do we need? Do we have enough capacity? Where should inventory be located? In essence, supply chain planning ensures that the right product reaches the right place at the right time at the lowest possible cost. To achieve this, supply chain planning consists of several interconnected processes. The most important ones include demand planning, material requirements planning, or MRP, capacity planning, production planning, and distribution requirements planning, or DRP. Let's explore each of these. Demand planning is the starting point of the planning process. It involves forecasting future customer demand using historical data, market trends, promotions, seasonality, and economic indicators. The goal is to answer one key question: how much product will customers need in the future? Companies use advanced analytics, statistical models, and AI tools to forecast demand. Accurate demand planning helps organizations avoid stockouts, reduce excess inventory, improve customer satisfaction, and support better production decisions. However, demand planning is rarely perfect. That's why organizations constantly update forecasts through sales and operations planning processes. Once demand is known, the next question becomes, what materials do we need to produce these products? This is where Material Requirements Planning, or MRP, comes in. MRP determines what raw materials are required, how much is needed, and when the materials must arrive. It uses three key inputs: demand forecasts, bill of materials, or BOM, the components needed to produce each product, and inventory levels. MRP ensures that factories receive the right materials at the right time, preventing production delays. Even if demand and materials are known, another important question arises: do we have enough capacity to produce the required quantity? Capacity planning evaluates whether a company has the necessary resources, such as machines, labor, production lines, and working hours. If demand exceeds capacity, companies may need to increase shifts, outsource production, invest in new equipment, or adjust demand forecasts. Capacity planning ensures that production targets are realistic and achievable. Production planning translates forecasts and material availability into actual manufacturing schedules. It determines what products should be produced, in what quantity, at what time, on which production line. This process helps manufacturers optimize production efficiency, resource utilization, inventory levels, and operational costs. Effective production planning keeps factories running smoothly while minimizing waste and downtime. Once products are manufactured, they must be distributed efficiently to warehouses, retailers, or customers. This is where Distribution Requirements Planning, or DRP, comes into play. DRP determines how much inventory should be sent to each distribution center, when shipments should occur, and how transportation resources should be used. It ensures that products are positioned strategically across the supply network to meet customer demand quickly and efficiently. Supply chain planning is critical because it directly impacts customer service levels, operational efficiency, inventory costs, and profitability. Organizations with strong supply chain planning capabilities are able to respond faster to market changes, reduce costs, and gain a competitive advantage. In today's fast-changing global economy, effective planning is no longer optional. It is essential. If you want to learn more about supply chain management, logistics, procurement, and planning strategies, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more insights. Because in supply chain, planning today determines success tomorrow.